Hello everybody, my name is Ian Benolio and today we're going to review the using price levels within order time. So without further ado, we're going to move forward. The price levels are used in sales transactions, and I have in front of me a sales order that you may have seen, and I'm going to go ahead and just add an item, and we're going to pick this sushi over here, and right here we see a price come up, and we also see this list over here of different price levels. So we're going to be talking about how we get to this price and how we get to this list of price levels, and then when we add it, there are other columns here that are very useful in kind of the pricing structure. Primarily the discount, the standard cost, and the standard price. Where does the standard cost and the standard price come from? Well, it comes from the item itself. So we're going to go to that particular item, which is 100. So I'm just going to go and find that one. And we see here that the price, the main price of the item, and the main or the standard costs are basically what is shown here, and that would be the price and the standard costs right on the item, which then you can see on the sales order. Of course, if I enter value here, it would update the price. So I can edit this discount and it updates the price. So that's where we get the standard price. But why should we use price levels? Price levels are useful for modifying the standard price or on an item based on particular business rules that you're trying to employ. And there are a number of different types of prices or price levels in our system, or classes. So there are price levels that apply to all items, to the entire company itself. And there are price levels that apply to items, okay? For example, volume discounts would apply to items. And then there are price levels that are assigned, that can be assigned to customers and leads. Okay, so in our help manual, there's an article called "Types of Price Levels," where there's a pretty good discussion on the different types of price levels and how they may apply to your particular circumstance. Now, also on the bottom of this is what looks like a complicated flow chart, but it's not. It's basically how how prices are applied in order time, starting from the standard price, which is the one that we just from the item, and then moving all the way through all the different types of price levels to get to the final price. So so you should review this this flow chart to see how price levels get ultimately the final price, starting from the standard price. Okay, so we'll find the price levels in the admin section under profile lists. Okay, and then under sales, you hit price levels. Okay. And like I said, there are a number of different types of price levels, and I'm going to go through 3 of them with you. One of them is the most simplest. But before I do that, let's talk about some common properties that every price level has. Every price level has a name, a type, the active status, and the start and stop dates. So you might have a price level that you don't wish to continue. You want to have a price level that maybe starts on a certain date and then ends on a date, and you don't have to remember to make it inactive. Well, this is the purpose of using the assign start and end dates. It automatically kind of discontinues the price level and makes it inactive, kind of inactivates it without really inactivating it when the end date transpires. Okay. So that's a very good feature to have. And Michael, everybody's muted.
Yeah, we got everyone set to mute, but some people were having trouble hearing your audio, but I directed them towards the phone audio, okay, so that they could pull that up.
Okay, thanks. All right, so the simplest type of price level for a customer assignable price level is called the customer discount. And it doesn't apply, it basically applies to any item, anything that this customer does. You basically create the discount, you put in a name, and then in this particular price level, we decrease the standard. The discount will be decreased by 10%. Okay. Now, in order to make any customer price level, so at that point, I can go and add an item. So let's say this particular item over here, and I can actually, see that the retail discount will be, 10%. All right. So you can see that I've applied this retail discount. Yeah. Now, let's say I want a particular customer to always get a specific discount. Well, in that case, I would go and edit the customer, and I would apply them the retail discount. Okay. See that? So now I can apply them that retail discount. I'm going to go ahead and save. I'm going to reload this sales order. So now when I add that particular item, that discount is automatically applied, and so I don't have to kind of select it over here. Okay, so it's automatically applied. Now let's say you have a lot of customers. For example, I have a customer list here, and there's a type, right? So a customer type. So I'm just going to scroll through that a little bit. Let's say I have OEM, and I have government, and I have retail, and let's say I want to I don't want to edit every single customer. I can apply a customer type across the board to all the customers that are in the OEM customer type, right? So if I do that, now I'm going to kind of reload this item, and you can see here that the OEM now automatically get that retail discount. Okay. All right. So that's the simplest type. Now, another type, which is pretty simple, and also you can import it with Excel. So this is called the customer item type, and you can call this a price book. So, let's say a customer, you have specific prices for a customer. It doesn't have to have any relation really to the standard price. It's a hard-coded or an absolute price. Okay, so it's not a percentage-based type of calculation. You enter the actual price, the price book. Okay, so I would just to add an item, I could, I can find it like so, and then I would put in the new price here, or I can kind of use this tool over here and say, reduce all these prices lower than the standard price by 15%, and it'll update all of them in one shot. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and save that. You can also add multiple items. So, for example, let's say all the items that have a specific manufacturer or a specific vendor, a specific item group, or a specific item class can be added at the same time. Okay? To remove an item from the price book, you would just delete that. Okay. All right, so back to our sales order over here. All right. So we will see that, that specific item. Right. Now you notice when I did this, when I applied the price level, the retail discount to some of the customers, it's no longer available over here. Okay, and that's an option that you can enable. The concept is that these are only the price levels that have not been assigned to any particular. By default, these will show only the price levels that have not been assigned to a specific customer, kind of floating price levels. And it's a very good method to kind of make, let's say a sales rep pick a specific price level without even having to enter the price. Okay, so that is part of the rules, and you can definitely set up where, let's say a sales rep only can spit particular price without even having to enter a manual price with those price levels. So if I wanted all the price levels to show no matter what, I would go under sales, under preferences, or I'd go to preferences and under sales, and I would apply all the price levels, or I would show all the price levels. One of the other things in the preferences is the rounding that you can do. So some people like to add like a penny or deduct a penny from their prices, like $9.99, $9.99. So we can do that. So you can apply it to the nearest, let's say, dollar, and then deduct a penny, to do that $9.99, $9.99 type of thing. All right. So that's a useful thing for your rounding. All right. All right. So another popular type of price level is the volume price level. So here I created a price level, and I simply created a kind of a range of price levels starting from 0. So, and I'll just kind of show you how we built this. So I just basically start typing in, just save this here for a second. I start typing in 1 and above discount. So here I'm going to put in 10. So here's my price break, and I want to get a 10% discount. All right, and here's another, let's say, price break, and after that it's a 15% discount, etc. Okay, this is an item price, so I have to apply it to an item. So I can apply it to any one of my items. I can also use the editor, the item editor, to apply it to a specific item as well. Okay, only one price level can be applied to an item. All right. So we'll apply it to, let's say, this one as well. Save that. And you can see which items they're applied to by clicking, this box over here. So these are the two items. So I'll go back to my sales order, and we'll show you kind of how that works. So I'll type in that item. Let's do another sales order because this is automatically that particular customer is automatically getting the 10%. So let's do another sales order here. Okay. So if I add the price, right, and if I change the quantity to 10, it'll change that price to 10% discount. If I change it to 21, right, it'll change it to 15% discount, back to 1. It'll change it back to. So that's the way the volume discount. So you can do volume discounts both by percentages and absolute prices as well. So there's a lot more detail in adding adding the price levels in our help. So I'm not going to go and start adding each individual price level. You should go and review the different types of price levels that you can add. The item in particular, you can add it by percentage or absolute prices as well. At this point, we're going to start answering some of the questions. So there is one question that someone asked, and they'll ask this. So they have a situation where they sell something at retail for, let's say, $35, and they have a wholesale price of, let's say, $15, and there's no relationship between the wholesale price. There's no correlation between the wholesale price and the standard price. So in that scenario, what we would do is we would simply create a price level that would be an item price level, a price book. All right, so this would be this type of price level: customer item price, specific prices per item. That's the type of item that you would create. Now, there's other types that you can, that's very useful. Item by percentage is basically almost identical to specific item, but it's by instead of the absolute price, you are going to give it a price based on either the cost or the price. Okay, so it's one or the other. And a lot of people do it based on, it can be the standard price, a deduction, or a very useful tool is that it could be an increase over costs. All right, so let's add one of those, and the cost, let's say, is 35, and we're going to say 25% above that. Okay, so that is going to have that's going to increase the price over that. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to apply this price level to one of my customers, or go into the sales order and add that item and see how that works. All right, so you can see that the percentage gives me 43 because it's just 25% above the cost, and the specific item gives me $51. So now the advantage of having this type of thing based on percentages is that all I have to do is change the standard cost of an item, and all the percentages, all the prices would be updated automatically. So, for example, if your vendors are constantly changing the price on you, maybe for whatever reason, tariffs, etc., this is a very useful type of price level where it kind of auto adjusts the price based on your cost. So we're open for questions.
If anyone wants to click in chat, they can add their question now.
Now, one other preference I want to show you is kind of overriding. The price levels is great. But some businesses want to use, the last price that was sold to the customer, and we do accommodate that as well. So you'll go to preferences, and you'll go to advanced, and you'll check this little thing that says use last customer price. So use last customer price shows all, or basically ignores the price levels altogether, and will use the last price that the customer paid. We'll use the last price the customer paid.
We have a question about using price levels for vendors. How would you set up price levels for a specific vendor?
We don't have price. Well, the price levels for vendors is something that we're going to add to the price levels. We have it reporting it over from all orders. It's not there yet, but there are some tools that you can use in to kind of control and ensure that you're always going to get the best price is to use the minimum order. So if you want to have in an order increment, so you want to have always the best price, you should put in a minimum order in your item vendors so that you'll always order at the right price. We are coming out with a price, a vendor price. We just have to kind of get to it. It's almost there.
How do we do an across the board increase? I joined a little late. Sorry if you already addressed this.
Mm-hmm. How do we do an across the board increase of what? Of prices?
Yep, of just prices. Like you might want to show her how you do the adjustment on the price book.
Okay. I mean, if you're in the prices, the price levels over here. So there's a little tool down here that you can use, to adjust the prices. Right, so that's just adjusting it to 0% lower than the price book, or I can say 10% lower or higher, or whatever I want. Oops. Now, if I wanted to adjust the standard price, I would use the one of our previous demos or webinars was on updating items using the ID of the item ID. So it would be an import-export to do a mass update to standard prices across the board. Or if you're updating a price level itself, you can create an import. So the first thing you would do is you would go ahead and create the price level with kind of no prices over here. And you'd pick customer item price. So this would be the price book. And once you have the price level, you would create a spreadsheet with the name of the item, the name of the price level, and the new price. Just 3 columns. Price level, item name, and new price. And you would go into here, into admin, you would go into import, you would create a new import job, and here you would select customer item prices right there. So that's the import to import. Now this customer item prices can be used both as to insert new items into the price book or to update prices in the price book. Definitely use the imports, a very valuable tool. Alrighty, well, thank you very much for attending this webinar. I hope you found it useful.